Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage California's Lieutenant Governor, the Honorable Eleni Koulanakis.
Thank you very much for that wonderful and warm introduction. Zhao Sheng Hao. Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Ambassador, Mr. Vice Governor, Minister Zhu, it's a pleasure to welcome everyone to Los Angeles today for the 4th Annual California-China Business Forum. It is the first forum of the new administration of Governor Gavin Newsom, and as Lieutenant Governor of California, it is my honor and privilege to be here with you today. Thank you to the organizers, GoBiz, LA Regional Export Council, CCCME, and the Consulate General of the People's Republic of China in Los Angeles. And thank you all for coming from far and wide to be here in California for this wonderful summit. I'd like to start by saying a few words about the California economy. California is the primary economic engine driving the U.S. economy, which is the largest economy in the world. Our state alone, if it were an independent country, would be the 5th largest economy in the world. We are home to Silicon Valley, Disneyland, Hollywood, and so many other iconic places which people around the world identify with American culture and innovation. When it comes to economic development, California is growing faster and outperforming the rest of the country in almost every sector. For instance, California is #1 in manufacturing. Our state controls 11.4% of the nation's manufacturing output. We are also #1 in agriculture. California produces almost all of the United States' almonds, apricots, dates, figs, kiwi fruit, nectarines, olives, pistachios, prunes, and walnuts. Yes. And we lead in the production of avocados, grapes, lemons, melons, peaches, plums, and strawberries. I would also like to recognize that we are home to the largest system of public universities in the country. The University of California and the California State University together have 33 campuses and over 750,000 students. Our community college system has an enrollment of over 2 million students. Education is important to us in California, and countries around the world participate in our success by sending thousands of international students to our state to study side by side with our American students. In fact, at this moment, 9% of the students studying at our University of California system are from the PRC. We are delighted to have them, and they are very, very welcome here. California's new governor, Gavin Newsom, has made it a priority to engage in the world around us and amplify the voice of California on the world stage. I am very proud that as part of the governor's effort to better focus California's international engagement, he issued an executive order designating me as his representative on international affairs and trade development. I'm also proud to serve as chair of a newly created interagency committee focused on international affairs, alongside Chief Economic Advisor to the Governor, Eleni Mendonça. The committee is comprised of agency secretaries, board chairs, and department directors that include international work in their portfolios. In just these first few months, our effort has already identified a series of key priorities, and I'd like to share some of them with you. First, as a former United States ambassador, I know that a substantial part of international diplomacy is keeping open lines of communication and investing time and effort in relationship building. Some call it tending the diplomatic garden. I look forward to working with both our country's traditional allies and other global partners to recommit ourselves to our shared values and mutual interests. Now, as you all know, there's been a lot happening these last few months, well, actually, even these last few days, around trade. Although California does not set trade policy, we have more to gain or lose than any other state. 30% of U.S. exports and 40% of imports come through California ports, and 20% of the state's workforce is supported by trade. Every day, $1 billion worth of goods flow through the Port of LA and Long Beach alone, the largest port complex in our country. Two-way trade with China is, of course, very important to our economy. China invests more foreign direct investment into our state than in any other in the United States. And 37% of imports coming into our ports are from China, as well as 9% of our exports. Tourism is also very important. Last year, we welcomed 1.6 million Chinese visitors. California has 6 tourism offices in China, the most in any country, and we invest $10 million every year in advertising to welcome Chinese guests. The largest ethnic Chinese population outside of China is right here in Los Angeles, helping to build strong personal ties between our two countries. Those ties are often the basis of economic activity as well. And as Ambassador Zhang noted in his remarks this morning, there are certainly some challenges right now in the trade relationship between the United States and China. And again, although the power to regulate trade rests with the federal government, California will continue to work to develop relationships and programs to promote trade and investment with China. Our trade relationship has been enormously beneficial to both of our countries. Let's work out our differences and set the stage for a future of stronger, deeper ties that bring our people and our economies closer together. Next, I'd like to talk about climate change, and I am very passionate about this issue. One of the greatest challenges we in California have taken it upon ourselves to address is the existential threat of a warming climate change and global warming. Over the last 2 years, California has experienced historic, devastating wildfires. One of Governor Newsom's top priorities is preventing and preparing for these fires. Fires that you may have seen on TV have traveled at the speed of 1 football field per second and have formed fire tornadoes, things we have never seen before. We know these wildfires are just one manifestation of a rapidly changing climate. California's previous governors, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jerry Brown, our current governor, Gavin Newsom, our leaders in the California legislature, myself, and the vast majority of the people of California agree. Climate change is a serious threat to the security and stability of our country and the world. We have 2 choices: we act or we cope. As the impact of climate change is already being felt with rising tides, melting ice caps, and erratic weather patterns, California has chosen to act. And let me point out that as we have acted, we have also seen our economy grow. Since the year 2000, California's economy has grown by 46%, and our population has grown by 16%, all while greenhouse gas emissions have been reduced by 10%. That is remarkable. Currently, we generate about a third of our energy from renewable resources, mostly from wind and solar power. In order to power our grid when the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing, we are investing in energy storage and currently boast the largest storage market in the United States. Increasing energy efficiency is also a priority. We are on pace to double our energy efficiency savings by 2030 through modernizing building codes, requiring more efficient home appliances, and adopting incentive programs to encourage Californians to simply use less. On the transportation side, California is home to nearly half of all zero-emission vehicles in the United States. I myself drive one. We are home to 90% of the total U.S. investment in clean transportation and 11 electric vehicle manufacturers. With the policy changes outlined above, California is on pace to drive down greenhouse gas emissions to 40% below 1990 levels by 2030. We are also on track to derive 60% of all electricity generated from power plants from non-carbon-based sources. And all our electricity will be carbon emission neutral by 2045. By 2045, the economy of the state of California will be carbon neutral. As proud as we are of this goal, we are also aware that reducing carbon emissions will not be enough to fix the damage already done. According to the October 2018 Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, to keep warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius, removing carbon already in the atmosphere will also be necessary. This is truly the moonshot. For carbon capture projects that have already been verified as effective, our Air Resources Board has developed a protocol that will provide financial incentives for eligible projects. And this is just a start, which brings me to the fact that of all California's work in combating climate change, our most important contribution is our investment in research and development. Right now, across our state, the next great breakthroughs are being pursued by researchers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. These committed women and men are tirelessly working on the next generation of battery technology, low-carbon fuels, renewable energy, carbon capture, and so much more. Last month, I represented California in 2 forums at the Belt and Road Conference in Beijing. I discussed the robust relationship between China and California around combating climate change and the important role China can play in helping lead the world on this issue. As California has charted our ambitious pathway, a strong partnership between California and China has emerged. It is built on a foundation of friendship and a recognition that the Earth's changing climate is a crisis that threatens us all. Since 2013, California and China have signed several memoranda of understanding at national, provincial, and municipal levels. These agreements have established a framework for high-level engagement, agency staff-level policy exchanges, extensive research collaborations at our universities and research institutions, trade delegations, and billions of dollars in investment by both governments. Our partnership was initiated around sharing best practices to reduce air pollution. California has made great progress in addressing air pollution in our state, and we have gladly shared best practices with China to strengthen vehicle pollution standards, promote environmentally sustainable ports, and improve maritime vessel compliance with fuel regulations. California is also extremely proud of our cap-and-trade program. This carbon emissions trading program is designed to limit carbon emissions while generating substantial revenue. It is considered one of the best models in the world and has been essential in helping our state meet the goals that I just outlined. Since our emissions trading system first started collecting revenues in 2012, we have appropriated over $9.3 billion in clean transportation programs, low-carbon communities, energy efficiency projects, sustainable forests and agricultural lands, and many other programs aimed at reducing greenhouse gases. As China works to develop its own cap-and-trade program, California has been happy to assist. We formalized our cooperation through agreements signed with the National Development and Reform Commission and have been closely engaged with regional pilot programs, including with some of you in this room. As you can see, the cooperation between California and China is robust, mutually beneficial, and good for the world. Today's summit between California and China, of which I hope there are many more to come, is a welcome opportunity to continue our cooperation. Again, I am truly honored to be here with you today and delighted to welcome so many entrepreneurs, innovators, and representatives from both California and China. I sincerely hope that this summit proves to be informative, fruitful, and enjoyable, and that our guests return home with new partners, friends, and ideas to expand and develop the relationship between California and China. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you.